to stuff the welcome back into my mouth, but that wasn't possible. The damage had been done. Yet no one had forewarned me. How was I to know Berta hadn't been advised of her father's plans to move his family to the Amana colonies? The multi-striped woven carpet that covered the parlor floor muffled the stomp of Berta's foot. I arched my brows and glanced toward my mother. The girl was behaving like an undisciplined 2-year-old. "Father?" "Now, Berta, please. You must remain calm." Mrs. Schumacher unclipped a hand-painted fan from her waist and handed it to her daughter. "Use this. I don't want you fainting and embarrassing yourself." Berta grabbed the fan from her mother's hand and slapped it atop her skirt. "I don't need a fan. What I need is an answer to my question." She waited only a moment. "Well, Father? How long will we be visiting in Amana?" Dr. Schumacher shifted toward his daughter and inhaled a deep lungful of air. "We will be making our new home here in Iowa, Berta. I trust you will remain quiet until we can speak in private. I should have told you before we embarked on the journey, but I wanted to avoid a scene." "Did you?" Berta jumped to her feet, a horror-stricken look in her eyes. "You don't really believe I'll agree to live in this place, do you?" Before either of her parents could respond, our parlor door opened and my father entered the room, with his flat felt cap pressed between his calloused fingers. A few pieces of straw clung to his dark work pants. He smiled, and crinkles formed along the outer edges of his sparkling eyes. Today his eyes appeared green. When I was 5 or 6 years old, I'd asked him about the color of his eyes. He'd told me they were hazel, but my mother said they were brown. I argued they couldn't be both. "Hazel is light brown," he'd explained before scooping me onto his lap. "But hazel eyes change and look different colors depending on what you wear. Sometimes they look green, and at other times you can see golden flecks." He'd nuzzled my neck. "Some people call them cat eyes. Do you think I look like a cat?" he'd asked. Remembrance of that long-ago conversation warmed me. I was glad Father was home. Perhaps his easy manner would calm Berta. He extended his hand and stepped toward the door. "Willkommen." His deep voice filled the room. "We are pleased to have you join our community, and to have another doctor in the villages." Berta glared at my father as though he'd committed a crime. "We won't be staying in Amana, Mr. Ilg." My father's brow creased. I was certain he was expecting Berta's father to reprimand her for such rude behavior. Instead, Dr. Schumacher held a finger to his lips. "We will discuss this once we are settled in our rooms, Berta." "First, you must tell me we aren't going to stay here more than one night," Berta said before tightening her lips into a pout. The doctor stood. "If you could show us to our rooms where we can have a private family discussion, I would be most grateful." My mother signaled me. "Johanna will be pleased to show you to the rooms. We must depart for evening prayer service soon. You're welcome to join us." "Not this evening," Mrs. Schumacher said. "Another time." As I led the Schumachers upstairs, I couldn't help but compare Mrs. Schumacher's gown to the blue, black, or gray calicos that were woven in the Amana mills and worn by the women of our colonies. No one longed to wear the bright calicos woven for those living outside the colonies. At least, no one ever spoke of such a desire. We didn't object to the sameness of our plain waists or the wide-banded full skirts. Even our shawls, aprons, and caps were worn without thought to their sameness. Would Mrs. Schumacher, in her pale green silk dress, adapt to our ways with more enthusiasm than her daughter? I pushed down the metal latch and opened the door leading into the rooms that would be the Schumachers' living quarters. For how long was anyone's guess. If Berta had her way, they would be gone before sunrise. The rooms are sparsely furnished, but I'm sure when you add some of your own belongings, they'll seem more like home. This will never be my home. Berta flung herself onto the overstuffed forest green divan.